back to my channel. My name is Deonna. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not new, thanks for coming back to another video. So today we're going to do a Q&A video, and this is pretty much a Q&A purely dedicated to all my CNAs. So I know I got a lot of new subscribers, and you guys have been coming from my week in the lives, day in the lives of CNA videos, so definitely welcome. And thank you guys to everyone who left me a question. So these questions, I made a community tab post, and then also these are questions that I've gotten just over time, either on my TikTok or on my YouTube videos, especially the ones that I've now kind of hit the thousands range on views, even though they're kind of old. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first question is, where can I work as a CNA? So as a CNA, like actually doing CNA work called a CNA, they're all called different things depending on where you work. If you're in an assisted living facility, they call us home health aides. They actually just changed our title over to resident assistant. So RAs or home health aides, if you're in a assisted living where there's like apartments, their homes, or if you actually work in a private one-on-one home care setting, then that's normally what you're going to be called. If you're in a actual rehab hospital, or actual hospital, or a clinic type of setting, normally you're called a nursing assistant there, or you're called a patient care associate or patient care tech. That's normally what it's called, but at the end of the day, it's still a nursing assistant. Or if you are in a nursing home, they normally call you a nursing assistant or a CNA as well. So those kind of are the places you can work. Private setting in home care, you can work in nursing assistants or long-term care facilities like rehab facilities and hospitals. You can work in hospitals, and you can work in assisted living and memory care facilities. You can also work in group home settings as well. The main places that you can work. The best place to work as a CNA. So I guess it really depends on what your definition of best is. Personally, I believe the best place is assisted living for a couple of reasons, because I think you get good experience, at least for me, as far as like meds and that kind of thing. I've learned, and I feel like I've learned a lot working in an assisted living and memory care facility, especially being able to do meds, insulin, all of that stuff. So if I ever went to a hospital where we do those kind of things and vitals, I would be very comfortable doing it, because I'm very comfortable doing it on my own. And I think assisted livings are usually just easier, because if a person is in an assisted living as opposed to a nursing home, most of their people are going to be total care, so it's going to be a lot harder work physically. You just have to think about, the quality of the patients. Just like if you're in a hospital, if you work in the labor and delivery floor as a CNA or a nursing station tech, there's going to be less things for you to do for the patients, as opposed to if you work in a total full ICU or the ER or something where your patients are going to be pretty hard to take care of. So it's really on what you prefer to do as far as what's the best place. My preference from my own experience is assisted living and memory care. Definitely would not want to work in a nursing home. That's where I did my clinical experience, and I just would not want to work there personally. But my goal place to work as a CNA, and my place that I feel like is my favorite, just based on what I've seen and what I know, is a hospital, because just more opportunities, better experience, you see different things, and that's what I'm looking for. I aspire to be a nurse, so I want to see and learn as much as I can. And when you're in assisted livings in the geriatric population, you are only going to see so much sometimes, so that's a good thing to take into account. The next question is, what is my favorite shift as a CNA? So my favorite shift is definitely daytime. I am a daytime person, but everybody else would say their shift is their favorite. A lot of people that work overnight at our job, this is like as CNAs, they either have another job, they're either in school full-time and like nursing school, and they can't. So that's why a lot of people like that. You do make more money on the overnight shift. You do have a lot less work on the overnight and even the night shift compared to the AM shift. AM shift is definitely the busiest. No matter where you work, you're going to be busy in the AM shift, but that's something that I do like. I am used to it. I've always worked AM, and I like to get in, get out, be done. I like to be busy, and by the time I know it, it's time to go. Should you be a CNA in nursing school? So I guess my answer is kind of biased. I think if you have to work and you can't be a CNA, I would definitely consider being a CNA while in nursing school, at least on call or PRN, because again, you're going to be exposed to things that you're learning about in school. There's lots of medication names that I know how to spell. I know things just kind of from being around it, from passing it, from talking to nurses. Whereas if I had never, so when I get to the drug classes, I'm probably going to be a little bit more familiar with certain things, or I might have a little bit better knowledge just because I'm more familiar with what things do and I've seen it actually in action, as opposed to just studying it. And I think it can definitely make you a better nurse. And every single person that I know who's been a tech before a nurse or been a CNA before a nurse has absolutely been a better nurse. How do you deal with an overwhelming patient load? You guys, the biggest thing that you can really do, the biggest thing I tell people when I train like new CNAs at my job, or just anything, even just talking to people, is you have to literally learn not to be overwhelmed. There's literally nothing that you can do but your best. It's not your fault. It is not your problem per se that the situation is a situation that you're given. So if you're walking in and you're understaffed, or you walk in and there's this and there's that, all you have to be able to, in order to be a CNA, you have to be able to adjust, and you got to learn how to be flexible, and you cannot crack under pressure. You got to learn how to say, you know what, I'm going to approach my day if I had 5 patients as opposed to now if I have 10. And it's very hard not to get overwhelmed and not to get overworked. And you will get situations where no matter what, you're going to need to just take a second and take a breath and reset. But my biggest thing that I do when I have an overwhelming patient load, or I have a lot of stuff to do at one time, is I step back and I look at everything that I have to do, and then I make a plan and then I just execute it. And I try not to get overwhelmed. I just do the best I can, and I take each task as it goes. And you'll get your rhythm, you'll get your flow. And honestly, sometimes this work is not for everybody, but you will learn how to get your flow and get going, and how and what to do and how to now catch up, because you had to spend 30 minutes here. You're going to have days where it's going to be stressful, but the biggest piece of advice I have is just to step back, take a deep breath as soon as you're about to get overwhelmed, or it's about to be too much. Look at what you got to do, and literally you have to learn to adjust, prioritize, and ask for help. If you need help, ask for help, and be a helping hand, so that when you need help, a person is actually willing to help you. Can you be a CNA long term? So this is actually a really, really good question, because a lot of the times in CNA jobs, like a lot of the people that I've met that are at my facility have been working there for 10 plus years. And I'm like, how the heck? And they're older people and things like that. And I don't think I would want to work at my facility that long, but I think you can definitely be a CNA long term. There is good money in being a CNA, depending on where you work, depending on your experience, depending on the company that you're working for, the hours you work, all that stuff. I actually follow someone on YouTube, and her videos, she is a CNA at a hospital, and that was her dream job. That's all she has aspired to be. She doesn't want to go on to be a nurse. She genuinely has no interest in that. She just likes to be a CNA at the hospital. And honestly, if it paid more, I could definitely do that. I enjoy CNA work. I just want to have more independence and want to have more responsibility and want to have more ability. And for what I need to do, I need to be a nurse. But you can definitely be a CNA long term. How long is the program, and how do you become a CNA? So the program is usually, a CNA program is normally like 3 to 4 weeks. And you literally, it's like classroom, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 kind of a thing. Once you've completed all of the classroom instruction, there's also clinical hours that you have to go to and do. I did mine through the American Red Cross, my CNA training. So we did our clinicals at a nursing home for 2 days. And you check all your skills off, blah, blah, blah. We had to take a comprehension test through the Red Cross. What that was to make sure that we completed their program. And then we took the state test. When you're done, you do have to, in order to like work in the hospital specifically and become an officially certified or registered nursing assistant, you do have to pass the state board test to get on the registry, and it's usually 2 parts. There's a written comprehensive exam, which I also took with my Red Cross place, or you usually will take at the school and the program. They'll usually help you figure out how to get certified. And then there's also what they call a skills test, which is where you have to perform 5 skills in front of an evaluator in order to pass. So you do have to pass the written and the skills portion to be considered a CNA, a registered nursing assistant or certified nursing assistant that is on the state registry. And in order to work in the hospital as a CNA, you do have to have that most of the time, especially here. So do you recommend working full-time and going to school full-time? Absolutely not. If you do not have to work full-time, I would not. If you don't have to work full-time, I would not. If I didn't have to work full-time, I would not. And it is especially like a set schedule. I think the best thing that you can do during nursing school is on call, or like, and I'm still doing my prereq, so I can only imagine actual nursing school. I just feel like you really need to try to focus as much as you can on school. And if you don't have to work full-time, don't. I'm not saying you can't work at all. You could definitely work on call or part-time, but if you had the option to do 2, definitely give yourself more time to do school and also love on yourself. Don't stress yourself out. It's more stressful, you know, but you can definitely do it. It's doable. How do you handle fussy patients with bathing, getting dressed, etc.? You guys, that's a really good question. So this is something that you guys are going to learn through trial and error, and it's also going to depend on the type of patients that you have, because you're going to have patients who are completely oriented, are completely just okay like me and you, and they're just being mean and being fussy because they want to be, they want to call, you know, they know what they're doing, they're conscious, and they're being difficult. All you can do is be patient and do not take it personally, and do not let it get to you guys. When you do, it's over with. Once they realize they've gotten to you, it's over with. Like, residents already know there's no getting to me. They get to the point where they're just like, I'm not even finna argue with her. And you don't have to be mean. You can't yell at people. You can't demand and make nobody do anything, but you can have a presence about yourself that just lets them know, hey, we're here. We're about to get down to business, and we're going to get it done and get it out the way. You got to have confidence in caretaking. That's one thing that I've kind of learned that I didn't learn in school, is you have to build that confidence up. You need to be able to walk into the room of a stranger and say, hey, I'm here to change your brief. You know, and you got to be able to take that. Like, it's uncomfortable and it's hard, but that's why I say this job is really either for you or it's not, because everybody cannot do that. Some people are like, what? Like, I can't even imagine. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but as you do it, you just find that confidence. You just jump right in and you just do it. So the biggest thing is keep your cool and stay patient and stay calm and collected, and don't get frustrated. Don't let them know that their fussiness or their whatever they're doing to challenging you is getting to you. And that's another thing that I've really learned with working in memory care, because dealing with people who got dementia and memory issues and Alzheimer's, those are some of the meanest people. Those can be some of the meanest and most, what do you call them? Combative and fussy patients ever. And I mean, they'll try to fight you, they'll hit you, they'll cuss you out, they'll be racist. You're gonna experience some things, you guys, literally. And you just gotta have a thick skin, and you gotta be ready to just take whatever and not let it literally get you down. Another thing that helps me too, like with people who are more coherent, is saying things like if I'm giving somebody a shower for the first time and I don't know nothing about their shower routine, I don't know really what they like, what they prefer, I ask them, hey, this is my first time giving you a shower. I just want to make sure, you know, that we are doing I'm doing everything right. What do you need my help with? Am I washing your hair only? Am I standby? Do I need to get your back? Do you want me to do this? I just make it very interactive. Whatever you're doing, make it very interactive and make them feel comfortable, because it's already uncomfortable enough. And I think once you have done that and you've broken that barrier of that uncomfortableness, because that's normally where the fussiness is coming from, you're good to go. Thoughts on double briefing and padding? Y'all, this is a very, 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 very controversial question, but I think it's a good one because if we're being honest, it's something that if you're a CNA, you're going to see CNAs who double brief, especially people on the overnight shift. What I will say is when you're training, it's a no-no. I tell people that you shouldn't do it. I do not personally do it, but again, I work AM shift. So truly, there's not a reason for me to be double briefing because during the AM shift, your person is up. They're going to 2 meals. They're normally going to activities. So you're toileting them anyway. So yeah, I feel like it's not really much of a reason for me to double brief. But I feel like the only time that I can kind of understand would be overnight because most of the time when you're overnight, you have more patients. You're by yourself. Like if you're in memory care, like at least at our facility, so it can be a little bit easier for you as a worker, but as long as it's not hard, at the end of the day, we're caregivers and you can't tell anybody how to do their job. So that's why I don't really like to say no, don't do it. You do what you feel is good for your patient, as long as it's not neglectful or causing them harm, which sometimes if you're the type of person who double briefs so that you can leave that person in their mess for the entire 7 hours and 45 minutes, and then when you do your last round, you're going to just take that off and then you have that brief on to look like you were making sure they were good, that's different. That's not okay, and I don't think that that's right, and you definitely shouldn't do that. But if you're actually checking and doing what you're supposed to do and making sure that they're not sitting in it, and you're just making sure it's not a big mess in case anything does happen, because blowouts do happen and facilities and places don't always have the things that you need to clean that stuff up. Like, we just got to get real, especially in the pandemic, like things happen. I think those are two different situations. So if you're neglecting your patient and being lazy about it and that's how you're double briefing, then I don't think it's right, period. Do you think CNA can be considered a career? I think I kind of covered that by saying, can you do it long term? Absolutely. And I know people who that's all they want to do, seriously, or who've done it for 15 plus years and they're content with it. Best ways to deal with trash management who nitpicks at CNAs and makes your job harder. Find you another facility, seriously, because it's not worth the stress. Literally, I feel like at this point in our life, we are too it's a pandemic out here. If you can't appreciate your hard-working employees, especially if you're not, if you're doing your job, and you can, I would say literally find another job, because when the management is bad, it don't matter how great the facility and how amazing your patients are, they're going to suffer and you're going to suffer. Last question is, do you think being a CNA is worth it? Absolutely, you guys. I absolutely 1000% think being a CNA is worth it. I love being a CNA, and I feel like a lot of even though it's hard, you have hard days. I've gotten pooped on, you guys. I've gotten cussed at. I've gotten called out my name. All different types of things. But I've also been told that I'm loved, I've been cared on, I've been hugged, I've been, people have held my hand, I've been by people's sides in some of their most hardest moments of their life. I've been a support to family members, and residents have done a lot for me, and I feel like no job that I've ever had has been more rewarding, more fulfilling, and more knowledgeful than the job that I have. And it is one that's very difficult, but I feel like it's a job that people have to do. We need us. If there's nobody willing to do it, I feel like you need the right people with the right type of heart to do these things. And no matter how hard it is, y'all, it's hard in different aspects of jobs that I don't like, that you're not gonna like no matter what it is. And it's very, very worth it to me. And I feel as though, like I said, if you're worried about money, I do wish we were paid better, but opportunities are slowly growing and there's ways to make more money as a CNA and be fine. But I think it's absolutely worth it. And if you're going to be a nurse, I think it's definitely worth it. I don't think you have to be one in order to be a good nurse, but I just think it gives you a good, humbling perspective. Is that? So I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but I had a lot of questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do more of these Q&As. I definitely will. You guys like my CNA sit-down videos, so hopefully you guys like this one. I love you guys for watching. If you made it to the end, make sure you guys subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.